I want to bring up one of our segments we started before, and I think this is actually a pretty good debate. Let's pivot now into some baseball talk with the Boston Red Sox. We're now in the final month of the season. They're making a playoff push, a playoff run, and they've called up their number one prospect, infielder, as we'll call him, as he's played second bases for a lot of his time with the in the Red Sox farm system until a few months ago. Yoan Moncada.
Hell of an arm.
Yeah, you've seen the replays,
Great,
right?
yeah, great defense.
So he's been called up. John Farrell was really pounding the table for this one.
Yeah.
He said the impact of Moncada could be Ellsbury-like from 2007, Bogarts-like from 2013. And so it has happened. Travis Shaw is now really just a bench player.
Is Moncada the everyday guy?
So he's getting the starts against righties, and then Aaron Hill is kind of getting the starts against lefties.
Gotcha.
Right now. So Moncada, not taking into account tonight's game, has started off 4 for 13. So it's about a 308 average, an RBI. But what's most concerning to me, and really, him coming out, he's a switch hitter, but he has 6 strikeouts, including 3 strikeouts the other night. So there are some holes in his swing.
Yeah.
And this is the second Red Sox farm player to come up from Double-A, the other being Andrew Benintendi. He worked out before he got hurt. I know he's gearing up to come back soon. But it just seems really risky to me. And this is the debate I want to get into is will Yoan Moncada make a true impact with the Red Sox as they make a push for the playoffs and maybe into the playoffs, or will he more hurt the team? And I think it's going to hurt the team more. And my argument, and we can start the debate, is that you're taking away. I know Travis Shaw has been a really poor hitter since the All-Star break, hitting like 200, 183 in August. It's been bad, but he's not the only guy that's struggling right now offensively. And we kind of saw this coming. When we talked about this last week, Jackie Bradley Jr., Xander Bogaerts, even David Ortiz a little bit has struggled. Dustin Pedroia and Mookie Betts have obviously been killing it. But a lot of guys have been struggling. And I know the production from third base hasn't been what you wanted. Aaron Hill's been a really poor trade, to platoon with Travis Shaw. But I don't think you bring in a guy who hasn't even played at AAA, who's really young, who wasn't even a 300 hitter in Double-A baseball, who is a nice prospect, but probably needs some more seasoning, and think this is the guy that can be the savior to your season, who could have a quote-unquote Xander Bogaerts or Jacoby Ellsbury type impact. That doesn't come around very often. The fact that Ellsbury was able to do that and then Bogaerts was able to do that was great, right? But correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm remembering things differently. The Red Sox weren't desperately needing that from either player. It was a nice surprise that helped them, that further added to it. But they didn't.
You're absolutely right there.
But they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't bring Ellsbury up specifically to come in and supplant Coco Crisp, right?
Right.
They didn't bring Bogaerts up to supplant Will Middlebrooks at third base, right? Because remember, Bogaerts played some third base in that World Series run. These are things that naturally happened.
Yeah.
Right. I know they called up Benintendi to fix the left field position, and that happened.
That worked out.
That worked out, and I argued that was a bad idea because I thought he would crash and burn, and he didn't. And credit to Benintendi, but to think lightning can strike twice.
Yeah, that's what I'm
concerned about, and especially already in the small sample size, 13 at bats, you've already struck out 6 times.
Yeah,
that's 50%. That's bad.
Yeah, that's not good. I guess so. To take the other side, I totally 100% agree with you.
Okay.
The only way I think that he's going to make an impact, he can't make an enormous impact. He can't make enough of an impact that's going to be, whether you make the playoffs or not. But I think he can have some impact, and that would be the defense and a base stealing threat. I would like to see them use him more as like a defensive substitution late in games. Pinch runner late in games.
Yeah, you're right.
And the odd start here and there. I would like him to do those kind of things instead of kind of like Dave Roberts, during that first World Series, when they made that trade. He was a great guy just to bring in late in games, put him on the bases, play some defense.
For sure.
You didn't need him to come in and hit, 320, put the ball in play, not strike out, walk a bunch of times. I think he would be better, more impactful using him more sparingly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I mean, they started him 3 straight games.
Yeah.
And
I think that's an issue. That's
I think his approach to the plate got worse and worse and worse. Now, of course, you see how he adjusts and whatnot. But
it is young, small sample
I agree
size.
with you. I don't think this guy should be coming in and starting against righties all the time. And
Yeah.
I don't think you should just take the job away from Travis Shaw.
Yeah.
I know he struggled
Platoon those two guys
for a few months, but
Yeah.
Shaw is also a guy that still has good numbers this year. I know his average is at 250, but he has a bunch of home runs and he has a bunch of RBIs. And even his last start, I mean, he hit another home run. He had four or five RBIs. You don't just give up on a guy like that. And I think people have been critical of Farrell all season long for a bunch of things. But
Yeah.
one thing I am critical on John Farrell for this, for being a little for thinking
happy.
for thinking that Moncada. I know you're excited about him. I mean, a lot of Red Sox fans are, but to think this is a guy that could truly come in and save your playoff hopes and whatnot, I think it's hurt more or less the last few days than it's helped. To be honest, Moncada could be a great player, and he should be. He should be a great player one day. I don't think he's there yet, and I think relying on him to become that is a bad move by the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And it'll be. I mean, could they have a downturn? Could they miss the playoffs a la 2011 with the Boston Red Sox because of a move like this? I don't think it'll just be because of the move.
Yeah.
But
It's
who
if
knows?
the rest of the offense can,
Right.
rediscover that earlier form of the summer.
Of course, and now you're pitching well. I mean, Eduardo Rodriguez had a no-hitter through 7 2/3.
Yeah.
David Price is pitching really well. Pomeranz is pitching well if he could get some run support.
Yeah, it's
Porcello,
just
obviously.
that
You
offense,
you
yeah.
really have a great pitching staff now. It's all coming together at the right time, and now have you messed up your offense?
Yeah.
Because now, especially in the National League games, you have at 7 Moncada. At 8, if you don't have Leon in there, you have the Bradley who can't hit, and then you have your pitcher. So 7, 8, 9, so you can't hit with a 30-year lineup.
We'll see. I mean, he does. He is hitting 308, so yeah, he's striking out a lot. But maybe we'll see. We'll have to see.
We will.
I think we both agree though it's unlikely. But hey, if lightning strikes twice,
Maybe this is
this is the year.
This
is the
would
year.
have to be the year.
Yeah,
This
you would
have
think
to
so.
be the
I'm like,
year.
okay, well, it just never happens. But maybe this is the year. So